They say empires fall, but gold never does. And in the heart of the world's longest-lasting empire, where East met West and faith met fortune, lay treasures so vast, so secret, that even centuries after the empire's fall, their full extent remains unknown. In 1299, in the rugged hills of Anatolia, a small tribe rose from obscurity. Their leader, Osman I, had nothing more than a sword, a dream, and a belief that destiny favored those who could see beyond their borders. What began as a frontier principality soon became a rising storm. As the centuries turned, the Ottomans conquered cities, sultans replaced kings, and a new order stretched from the deserts of Arabia to the gates of Vienna. But their true conquest wasn't land, it was wealth. Because the Ottomans understood something few empires ever did, that gold might buy loyalty, but control of trade bought eternity. At its height, the Ottoman Empire was not just a military machine, it was the beating heart of global commerce. From the silk routes of China, to the spice markets of India, from the gold mines of Africa, to the merchant fleets of Venice, every road, every caravan, every ship somehow led to Istanbul, the city once called Constantinople. The Ottomans controlled the veins of the world. Silk, spice, sugar, coffee, porcelain. Everything that glittered or tempted passed through their customs gates. And the Sultan, he didn't just rule, he collected taxes from every caravan, tariffs from every harbor, tribute from every vassal state, gold from Cairo, jewels from Persia, slaves from the Balkans, silver from the mines of Serbia. All of it flowed into the empire's treasury, the beating vault of the world's wealth. In the heart of Istanbul stood a palace, not merely a home of emperors, but a fortress of secrets, Topkapi Palace. Behind its walls, beyond the marble courtyards and gardens filled with roses, lay one of the most mysterious treasuries ever assembled, the imperial treasury of the Ottoman sultans. Within its golden chambers rested artifacts that defied belief, emerald daggers carved with diamonds, jewel-encrusted thrones gifted by Persian shahs, coins from every empire conquered, Rome, Byzantium, Persia, Arabia, and at its center, guarded by silence and blood oath, lay what was called the sacred trusts. These were not treasures of gold, but of faith, relics said to include the Prophet Muhammad's cloak and sword, the staff of Moses, and the handprint of the Prophet's cousin Ali. For centuries, these relics were displayed only to the Sultan and his most trusted guards, proof that the Ottoman ruler was not just king, but caliph, guardian of the Muslim world. And yet, beneath the spiritual awe, one truth remained: faith was power, and power needed gold. The empire's wealth was not stored in vaults alone, it was embedded in the system itself. The Ottomans built one of history's most intricate bureaucracies, where even the smallest scribe's pen could move mountains of money. Taxes were collected through a system called the timar, a network of land grants to soldiers and officials, who in return maintained armies for the Sultan. Trade duties, customs fees, harvest levies, every coin found its way upward. At its peak, the empire collected more than any European kingdom combined. And with that gold came marble mosques, fountains, caravanserais, bridges, and markets that dazzled the world. The streets of Istanbul glittered at night with oil lamps imported from Venice. The Grand Bazaar, a maze of over 4,000 shops, hummed with the sound of coins clinking, the empire's heartbeat. But beneath that prosperity, something darker stirred. As the centuries passed, corruption began to creep through the system like rot through an ancient ship. Officials skimmed profits, merchants smuggled goods, and palace favorites traded loyalty for luxury. In the 16th century, under Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, the empire's wealth reached its zenith, but also its most fragile point. Foreign silver, pouring in from the New World, destabilized the Ottoman economy. Inflation soared, soldiers demanded more pay. The price of loyalty grew heavier with every coin, and so began what historians call the hidden treasury. To preserve the empire's power, vast amounts of wealth were quietly siphoned away, converted into jewels, hidden in underground vaults, and guarded by eunuchs sworn to silence. It was said that beneath Topkapi, there were tunnels filled with chests sealed in wax, marked only with the Sultan's signet, gold that would never see the light of day. Wealth kept not for spending, but for survival. Every sultan inherited not just the empire's throne, but its mysteries. Some added to the hidden hoards, others squandered them. Suleiman's successors built palaces of gold, drank from emerald cups, and wore turbans studded with pearls from India. In the 17th century, Sultan Ahmed I commissioned the Blue Mosque, an architectural wonder that cost so much it nearly bankrupted the treasury. But to the Ottomans, beauty was never an expense. It was a declaration of divine favor. Still, whispers spread of hidden vaults beneath mosques, of treasure ships sunk deliberately in the Bosporus, of secret tunnels stretching from the palace to the sea. Some said that every new sultan moved the treasure to keep it safe, not from enemies, but from his own court. And when the empire began to crumble, those whispers became legend. By the 18th century, Europe had changed. New empires rose. Britain, France, Russia, and the Ottomans, once feared, were now the sick man of Europe. But even as their armies weakened, their gold still glimmered. European bankers, traders, and spies descended on Istanbul, hungry for influence and contracts. The empire began borrowing money, mortgaging its own future. Yet within the Sultan's circle, the old treasures remained hidden. Documents from European diplomats describe mysterious shipments leaving the palace by night, crates said to contain not documents or furniture, but ancient gold and artifacts bound for unknown destinations. Some historians believe those shipments were moved to secret vaults in Anatolia. Others say they were melted down to pay debts, and some insist they were smuggled out entirely, hidden by loyalists as the empire fell. In 1922, the Ottoman Empire finally dissolved after over 600 years. Its lands were carved into nations, its armies disbanded, its palaces emptied, but the question that haunted historians remained: where did the empire's wealth go? Some of it became the foundation of the new Turkish Republic. Much was looted, lost, or sold to foreign collectors. But legends persist, of treasure buried in the hills of Bursa, sealed within abandoned mosques, or hidden beneath the Bosporus Strait itself. In the 1950s, divers claimed to find traces of Ottoman gold near the old harbors of Istanbul, golden coins fused into coral, fragments of jewel boxes. None of it was confirmed, but the myths endure. Because the Ottomans, more than any other empire, understood that wealth's greatest power lies not in being seen, but in being believed. Today, what remains of that golden age are echoes. Mosques whose domes still shimmer under the sun, bazaars still humming with trade, and treasures displayed behind glass at Topkapi Palace. But the true wealth of the Ottomans wasn't gold or jewels, it was knowledge. A mastery of trade, diplomacy, and faith woven together into one of history's most enduring civilizations. They created systems of credit long before modern banks. They established trade routes that shaped continents. They turned commerce into empire, and empire into legend. And though their gold may be hidden, their influence is everywhere. In the arches of mosques, the spices in your tea, the coffee in your cup, the silk on your clothes. The Ottoman Empire's real treasure was not what it owned, but what it connected. Even now, centuries after its fall, Istanbul remains a city of whispers. Walk its ancient streets at dawn, and you can feel it, the echo of power, the scent of old trade routes, the weight of history pressing through the cobblestones. Some say the hidden treasures still lie beneath the city, guarded by spirits, or by silence. Others say the treasure was never buried at all. It was transformed into art, into architecture, into memory. Because the Ottomans didn't just build an empire of gold, they built a civilization of wonder. The Ottoman Empire's wealth teaches one truth: gold can be lost, power can fade, but legacy, true legacy, is invisible. It's in the systems we still use, the cities we still live in, the trade we still depend on. The Ottomans showed the world that wealth is not merely possession, it's preservation. It's not just what you earn, but what endures after you're gone. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest treasure they left behind was not buried in stone or guarded by swords, but hidden in the way the world still turns today. From the deserts of Arabia to the palaces of Istanbul, from the caravans that crossed the Silk Road to the fleets that sailed the Mediterranean, the Ottoman Empire's story is one of gold and glory, and the silence that follows both. Their treasures may be lost, but their lessons remain. Because the Ottomans understood what every empire forgets, that power built on wealth will fade, but wealth built on vision can outlast eternity. This was the Ottoman Empire's hidden treasures. You've been watching Wealth Untold, where every fortune hides a story, and every story hides a lesson.